The back to school for the school high school students prior to the baccalaureate and preparatory exams. Thousands of families received fresh meat as part of these times of joy and sharing for the international scene. The most affected countries on the African continent with more than 500,000 cases of COVID-19. Welcome to our newsroom. After 2 months of confinement and a period of observation of the evolution of situation of COVID-19 pandemic in the country, it is today Sunday, August 2, 2020. They return to class for thousands of students in the final and first classes of general education and technical vocational education as planned through the national territory. In fact, 10,933 pupils, including 6,395 in the final year and 4,538 in the first years, are returning to school for 3 weeks after revisions before the baccalaureate exams and the preliminary exam for the first year, scheduled for the beginning of September. As far as technical and vocational education is concerned, a total of 1,136 candidates students are enrolled in their schools. To this end, draconian measures and provisions are being taken by MENFOP to guarantee the health safety of the pupils and of the 842 teachers and 251 management and school life staff concerned by this resumption of classes. It must be noted that excellent preparatory work has been carried out at the level of the ministry in the schools to ensure the resumptions of classes for these thousands of pupils, as well as for the 842 teachers and 251 management and school life staff. On the occasion of the resumptions of courses for nearly 11 thousands of students in the finalists and first years of general education and technical vocational education, the Minister of National Education Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahamoud, toured the general and technical high schools in the capital. During this visit, the minister and his delegation visit successively the State High School of Djibouti, the two general and technical high schools of Gabod, Lik, and finally the High School of Balbala, the High School of Pika 12. At each of these stages, the ministers inspected the water points dedicated to hand washing, but also the respect of the wearing of masks and more generally the respect of barrier measures to protect against the COVID-19 pandemic. He also spoke with teachers but also students and administrative staff to inquire about the conditions for the resumption of classes. In particular, he discussed with the pupils how they felt when they resumed classes after the period of confinement, but also and above all about the lesson broadcast on televisions and digital platforms. The pupils generally expressed their satisfactions with these distance learning courses, which have been greatly facilitated by the disseminations of via social networks of the lesson planners on television and internet. For his part, Mustafa Muhammad Mahamoud insisted at length on the imperative need to respect the barrier measures because he reiterated the health risks linked to the coronavirus is not yet completely under control despite the rule observed around the world. It is therefore imperative to protect ourselves and our loved ones. He said. Finally, the minister paid a vibrant tribute to all teachers, administrative staff, and pedagogical managers, such as inspector and pedagogical advisors, who remained mobilized during the period of health crisis to ensure the continuity of teaching and learning during the period of containment and extreme spread of the virus. As it does every year, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity is mobilizing to prepare Eid al-Adha, relaying the generosity of several donors to the most destitute people, thus working to ensure that this day's traditionally holiday has a beneficial and lasting impact on vulnerable families in this blessed days of celebration of Eid al-Adha. It is in collaboration with the several Islamic NGOs, Sunnah al-Khair, Dawat, Dawat al-Islam, and Ar-Rahma, Sanabul al-Khair, as well as CSSW, achieving the sacrifice of meat for the benefit of the most destitute households. Very early this morning, this distributions took place in the Diwan al-Zakat compound in the presence of the Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Solidarity, the Director of Diwan al-Zakat, and several representatives of associations. The event not only fulfills the duty of solidarity in this period of health crisis, but also contribute to the effective fight against hunger and malnutrition. These meat distributions were thus able to reach more than 2,780 households living in the interior regions and above 2,050 households in the city of Djibouti. For his part, the Kuwaiti ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Yusuf Hussein Al-Qabandi, expressed in a brief intervention his satisfaction to participate in this implementation ceremony of the sacrificial meat project Al-Adahi for the benefit of 2,600 families, which is funded by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, Waqf Property of the State of Kuwait. He stressed that this initiative reflected the depths of fraternal relations and mutual cooperation between the two countries and two brotherly peoples. The Kuwaiti diplomat took this opportunity to express his sincere thanks to the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, which oversees programs and charitable activity in Djibouti, and also thanked all the bodies and organizations that contribute to the implementation of this noble project. For her part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Solidarity, Ifrah Ali Ahmed, took this opportunity to express his sincere thanks to the Kuwaiti Embassy, which oversees programs and charitable activities in Djibouti, and also thanked all the bodies and organizations that contribute to the implementation of this noble project. The Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, in partnership with the Ministry of Women and Family, the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Decentralization, the Ministry of Communication, and the City Hall of Djibouti, as well as RTD and the Djiboutian National Olympic and Sport Committee, organized yesterday evening in front of the Guled Stadium a musical entertainment where several national artists and the group performed present at the ceremony, where the Minister of Women, Momina Hamad, the President of the National Olympic Committee, Aisha Garad Ali, the Secretary General of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Khadija Ibrahim Idris, representative of the Mayor, as well as different directors of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport. These sports and musical activities will last all months of August. They aim to channel and fill their program grids with young people during the school holidays. These activities will be repeated on different major roads of the capital so that all Djiboutians can benefit from them. Awaladan, Fafi Harun, Nur Dalla, and the group 4 March treated the young people with their most famous hit from Djibouti. This evening ended with the presentation of gifts to the young winners who answered questions asked by the moderator of this event. In partnership with the Ministry of Women and Family, the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Decentralization, and the Ministry of Communication, the City Hall, as well as RTD, the Djibouti National Olympic Sport Committee, organized in the evening of Friday, August 1st, 2020, a musical concert at the headquarters of the branch of RPP Party in Hayable. The event took place in the presence of the Secretary General of the Secretary of State, Khadija Ibrahim Idris, the Member of Parliament, Suleiman Daher Bile, the President of the Annex RPP Hayable, Mr. Osman Khaled, the representative of women of Hayable, and the citizens of Barbara City. The atmosphere was electric. Many Djiboutians, members of the police and armed forces, participate in this evening full of color and rhythmic and musical performance with the great artist Abdinur Alale and several national stars of Djiboutian music kept the audience of tenterhooks for several hours. This cultural event, organized by the State Secretary for Youth with the support of the Olympic Committee of Djibouti, was a great success with a great applause from the public. In his intervention, the Member of Parliament Suleiman Daher expressed his satisfaction with the participation in this festive and lyrical evening. Folk dances and of various artistic groups as well as youth and residents urged the youth to the need to maintain security and stability in the country. On the occasion of Eid al-Adha, the National Police and its partner organized on the evening of Friday 31 2020 a musical concert on the Police Academy Idris Farah Abane. Occasions of took place in the presence of the Director General of the National Police, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of Staff of Djiboutian Armed Forces, Police and Armed Forces Executive Member of National Police and the National Armed Forces stormed the premises of the early evening and activated tonight the Djiboutian artist yesterday. The artist Awali Aden, several national stars of art. This cultural event was a great success to the applause of the audience. As part of the festivity of Eid al-Adha, which took place throughout the capital and interior regions of the country, the radio and television took a large place by offering its listeners and multilingual and multicultural entertainment evening. Took two evenings in a row on July 31 and August 1st. The second evening of Eid al-Adha, hosted by the troupe of young talent. Yesterday evening was present by the Muna and Moyale with an electric and varied music interpreted by the young rising artists who made their steps in the RTD. All musical hits followed by the head of the audience and in front of the small screens were also performed during the evening, interspersed with sketch following together below. Some experts from the show presented for the second evening of Eid al-Adha. Still within the framework of the North-South twinning initiated by Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, the Dakhilian young people visit Tajura were well received by the under leadership of Tajura Sporting and Discovery stay placed under the signs of twinning between the North-South youth. Wonderful week for the young Dakhil people who arrived on Saturday for a few days of excursions placed under the direction of the Sub-Directorate of Region. The young people visit at the beginning of the week the White City and multiplied the sport initiative. In this sense, the two teams produced on Saturday evening a friendly match of reference which ended with a small victory of the hosts 2-3. The matches took place in the presence of the Vice President of the Regional Council of Dakhil, Mr. Mohammed Ebo, the two Deputy Directors, Mr. Mohammed Ali Ibrahim, and Abdallah, the manager of the complex, Medina Dimbio, as well as several members of the collaborator of Tajura Sub-Directorate. After the effort, the comfort, the Dakhil young people had the pleasure to stroll along the seaside to take a break on the cornice and soak up the history of this ancient city by a local guide before flying to Lubatale, a tourist site located a few kilometers from the city. They were greeted by the manager of tourist site, Spring, who is from the diaspora of London, Lubak Omar Mohammed Kamil, and Orbis Hilaf, which the largest has organized for young people from two regions, a copious lunch. In the framework of the fight against the illicit traffic of contraband goods, the Inter-Army Battalion of Ali Sabih region is in close collaboration with the Custom Brigade have intercepted this week a significant quantity of smuggled cat, a record quantity of 100 bags, 3,000 kilograms of smuggled cat were seized, 3 tons of smuggled cat were seized as required by producer. The entire cat of contraband were destroyed by fires in the presence of Mr. Farah Abdi Dudub, head of the Mobile Customs Brigade, and custom officials of the region. Custom officials of Libya's armed forces have decided to take firm actions against cat smugglers who are competing unfairly with the formal market players and thus harming the national economy. The national police informs the population that a child aged about 9 years old named Sahal Abdullahi Saeed was taken into the care of the police around 9 p.m. This Sunday, August 2, 2020, the child's mother is named Al Khair Ali Hassan. He was found wandering on the Boulevard Hassan Guled near the barracks of the National Police. He is currently at the Central Police Station's Brigade of Minors. If you recognize this child, please contact the number indicated below 21 35 27 61. For the international scene, South Africa, the countries on the African continent most affected by the new coronavirus, has officially recorded more than 500,000 cases of COVID-19. The health ministers announced on Saturday more than a third of the cases have been identified in the province of Gauteng, where Johannesburg and Pretoria, the economic and administrative capital of the countries, are located. The mortality rate is low, around 1.6%, according to the Minister of Health. South Africa is the fifth worst affected countries in the world in terms of confirmed cases. South Africa alone has recorded more than half of the new coronavirus cases on the African continent. The official death toll has exceeded 8,150, but it is vastly underestimated. Experts have warned, basing their warning on the fact that South Africa has seen an increase of almost 16% in the total number of natural deaths in recent weeks. Between 14,000 and 15,000 people could die from COVID-19 by the end of the year in the countries, according to official projections. The countries imposed one of the strictest confinement in the world at the end of March before relaxing it. In the face of the explosions of contamination. Schools have just been closed again for a month, and a right curfew has been re-established. And to close this edition, it is official. Didier Drogba filed Saturday, August 1st in Abidjan his candidacy for the presidency of the Ivorian Football Federation. The former star strikers promised to contribute to the rebirth of this sport king in Ivory Coast, which, according to him, is going badly. In mid-July, the former captains of the Ivorian Elephant suffered a heavy blow when the Ivorian Football Association refused to sponsor him. Since then, however, he has managed to obtain 8 sponsorship and the support of one of the 5 interest groups needed to apply for the elections. After the submissions of the files, the Electoral Commission has 5 days to analyze and validate the various candidatures. In addition to Didier Drogba, Idriss Diallo, former TES vice president, and supported by the Footballer Association and the current vice president of this Football Federation, Sori Diabate, have already submitted their candidacies. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.